Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing around with a new shape from the Scrap FX rice paper collection. So I'm going in on a craft page with some gold paint, which isn't actually gold paint, it's actually called Interference Bronze, but it's the best gold paint I have. It's from a company called Golden. It's a bit expensive, but it's beautiful. It's like liquid metal, as you can see on the page. I love putting over craft pages because it just looks beautiful. I don't know if anyone else has this problem with craft pages, but I find my craft pages always curl. It's really frustrating, but you know, some clips sort those out fairly quickly. So this page came about because my beautiful arty friend Kerry sent me a fabulous Christmas gift with lots of cool goodies in it, including this great stencil from Stencil Girl that she thought I might like, which I do. So I thought I would use it in the background. I wanted to christen it. So I'm just using some turquoise paint against the gold. Now I was finding as I was doing this that I wasn't getting a brilliant cover of turquoise on this. Because it just probably needed 2 coats really. The 2 paint types are they're obviously both acrylics, but the golden paint is quite glossy kinda, and the Dina Wakley ones are more matte, so I think, you know, one sitting on top of the other wasn't necessarily helping out all that much. I tell a lie. I wasn't using Dina Wakley paint at all. I was using Liquitex paint. That's probably why, because it's not quite as thick as the Dina Wakley. There you go. Niamh, look at the art supplies you're actually using. So because I had the background, you could still see it. It was all good. I decided I was going to stamp all over it. And the stamps I'm using are from another Australian designer called Natalie May. And I'll leave her link to her shop in the description box below. She's got these cool stamps called blah blah blah, which are all things like blah blah blah, nope, not doing it, original art, just lots of cool little sarcastic-y type phrases. But it was just nice to put something in the background to break it up. So now I had the background, it was like, oh, this is good, but what am I going to do now? So obviously it's Niamh. I'm just going to keep playing. I wanted to boost the blue color on this page a little bit more, so I got the blue ink out, and I'm just using this little dotty stamp over the background to add a little bit more texture again into the background. On this day, it was a good mail day this day. You can see this gorgeous little packet of vintages ephemera that Kerry sent me as well. So thank you so much, Kerry. Really appreciate it. I got a package from Scrap FX as well with some of their new die cuts and some of their new rice papers. So this is one of their new die cuts called Numbers Man, which I love. I do love these silhouettes. I don't actually own a die cutting machine, and I don't use them often enough to really think that having a die cutting machine is worth it, but I do like the odd die cut image on my page, I have to admit. So if I don't have to do the hard work of getting my die cutter out and cutting something, and someone else can do it for me, that's great. So I just glued it onto the vintage text to sort of frame up a little bit and push it forward. And while I liked it on this page, it wasn't quite working for me. So I did save that for another page, which you will see in the near future on this channel. And I decided to use one of the new rice papers instead. So I've got this one with the crown on it, and I thought, oh, I've got this gold background, so this might be something fun to do. Because it doesn't quite, I didn't want it to fit, sorry, I didn't want it to fit. I wanted to extend the image a little. I decided to add some shoulders on, and again I'm using some vintage text. I just, apart from the fact that Kerry sent me that gorgeous box of little bits and pieces, I tend to use text a lot in my work anyway, as you can see from the background. I just like the linear nature of the letters and how it looks. It just appeals to me. So maybe because I'm a teacher and, you know, that's why. I know some people have a real issue with tearing up books as well. I do too. Books are a very precious thing, but when it comes to artwork, libraries throw away binfuls of books, and op shops sell books that you can tear up, and I don't feel guilt about those, because those are books that were heading on the way to the bin, and if I can use them in a different way, instead of getting them just thrown out, I feel like I'm actually saving them. They're being used for something else. So with my rice paper image, I'm just going in and I'm doing some crazy face painting. I've been really enjoying painting faces like this. It's helped me work out my shadows and highlights a lot more, which seems really bizarre because it's not realistic. But I find by using really strongly opposing, that's the wrong word, but I can't even think of the right word, isn't that terrible? Colours that stand out against each other instead of blending into each other. It just helps me really see visually where they are. So obviously in this, I'm using the yellow as my lightest colour, I'm using the blue as my shadow colour, and I'm using my pink as my mid-tone colour. And it just helps me sort of visually put it on the page where I want it. The other colour you can see me adding on, which is a really important colour to add in, is that darker dark, and in this case I'm using the night. It sort of just blends in really beautifully and gives that sort of dark purpley tone. And for me, when I'm drawing faces anyway, I tend to do my shadowing or shading with purples. Again, it's just sort of personal preference to me. It's something that I've, when I go and grab my colour pencils when I'm doing shading on faces, I just tend to go to the purples. Some people grab other colours, so just grab what's useful for you. The final thing that not the final thing, but the other thing that I'm doing is I'm doing some scribbly shading on the face, which again seems a little bit bizarre, but I like the effect of it. You don't have to do that, it's just something that I really enjoy doing. And you can see I'm also doing the scribbly shading on the crown as well. Then I'm using my paint pen to just do some highlights, so the highlights on the star and the highlights on the jewels in the crown. With the text in the background for the shoulders, you can see I've painted over that, and now I'm just adding in some details. So, it just blends into the background. If you just want to use a white piece of paper to do that, certainly go ahead, or you could use patterned scrapbooking paper and then you wouldn't have to paint it in as well. So use your imagination of how you use it. In the close-up at the end, you'll see some of that text peeking through, and that's what I really love about it, that you sort of get that translucent, just something catches your eye as you're looking at it, gives it almost a texture to the page. Last thing I'm putting in is a quote, because I had that second page, it's like, well, it needs something on it, and I chose to use the turquoise on this page to sort of tie the colours together, so you can see that sort of theme of turquoise coming through. The quote was, "Chin up, princess, or your crown will slip," and I thought that was really, fitting to the image on the page too. So quite often when it comes to me, I do my focal image and then try and find words that fit with it. It's always handy when I'm going looking for quotes in Pinterest that I can sort of put in crown quotes and find something that fits. If I was looking for that, depending on what sort of way I want to go with it, I could look for crown quotes, or I could look for star quotes, or something similar. But I like this one, particularly with all the gold in the background as well. It just fitted for me. So now I'm going in to highlight my letters, and I'm putting a bit of a drop shadow on all of the letters, just using my black paint pen. And you can see by doing that, it pushes it out from the background. It makes it look like it's almost floating on top of the background. It's a really quick and easy way if you're finding your lettering is blending into your background. If you just do this quick little highlight on it, it just helps it pop out from the background. So here's a close-up of the final page. It was a fairly quick and easy page to do. It's not using too many techniques. Obviously you can paint the face in any way you want to, so it can you can make it look much more realistic, but I just like the really quirky nature of having lots of colours in the background. So I hope you have a go at doing something similar. Until next time, bye for now.